The last 20 years has really been spent professionally being a developer in the town of Parker. Actually, it started the night the town of Parker incorporated. And with my belief in this little town and watching it grow, I've stayed here ever since, living here, officing here, assisting the community, the town. But where I'm sitting right now is an area called the Niewoehner Park. And at the beginning of developing a hayfield area that was owned by the Clark family that had the 20-mile house sitting on it from the 1860s, we picked up and purchased 48 acres in this area along Main Street. And Main Street is to my left, and it's the old area of Parker. We developed from there, going westerly, 48 acres to include such things as condominium projects, apartment buildings. We've got retail, we've got restaurants. One of the areas that I started off with in developing this hay meadow, and there was no street other than Main Street, called West Parker Road, and so we built all the other roads in, of Dransfeld Road, 20-mile road, Stage Run. My first building and sale was the U.S. Post Office. And from there in this project, and like I said, it's been running about 10 years, and in addition to building parks and helping on trails and everything, my profession has really been a commercial broker and a developer in the town of Parker. After the post office, one of the major buildings I was so proud of to be a part of and the community needed is the 20-mile 10-screen theater. And that's in 20-Mile Village at this time. And we then brought in a lot of shopping, retail, restaurants. I feel that the combination of positive growth of items for the public, of where to shop, where to recreate, we also then combined in, though, and it was a belief of mine and my partners and I, developed this 1-acre park. This park is called the Niewoehner Park because this big rock I'm sitting on, we brought that in for a purpose to recognize the pioneer spirit. The pioneer spirit was so strong, and a lot of that tenacity and perseverance and persistence is not there anymore. And to work with the kids today, matter of fact, I have read Story Hour here, where I've got the library next door, and I opened up the whole library complex to be part of this park. But the stone indicates the strength of the pioneers and what they put up with. Let me tell you a little bit about where we're actually sitting, not my 10 years of developing in the park that's been created, but if you see that stagecoach that's behind me right now, we had an artist out of Idaho named Ralph Crawford sculpt that and bring it to Parker from Idaho. It's made out of marble dust and resin, matter of fact. And this is the exact location where I'm sitting, where the big stagecoach from Kansas, it was the Butterfield line that pulled in here. And we're talking around 1865 to 70, into the 70s, to see that 6-horse hitch on a Butterfield stage pull in. And this was called the 20-mile house, and the park that's adjacent to this one is the 20-mile park because it was 20 miles from old downtown Denver. And the stages had all these stops on the way. The next house up the road from here was the 17-mile house. In Cherry Creek is the 4-mile house. And matter of fact, at this area right here where the stage pulled in, it picked up famous people such as Buffalo Bill's mother stayed at the 20-mile house here and rode in on the stage with Mrs. Tallman and some of the other pioneers. So I'm really sitting on a history area that makes my tenure look very contemporary. The Niewoehner Park then, where there's water beneath me, came forth with the name in that generations live on. So even though the stone is strong and everything, the water indicates life in the next generations. So we tried to, again, with this park, provide for each generation, not just the ones that were here at the first day Parker was starting to develop, but the families that move in and their children and their children's children to experience and learn this history. So we're looking at an area that I spent the last 10 years developing 48 acres, bringing in the commercial, but at the same time being sensitive to the 20-mile house, the stage stop here, where the Denver and New Orleans Railroad ran through, and next to the public library. So I feel the combination of growth and sensitivity to the environment is something that we can do now, we can do in the future, and it must be adhered to because history is so important as is the preservation of the natural terrain.